Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and we are going to kick off day number 8 of the playthrough of this War of Mine, the board game. What a playthrough this has been so far. I never thought I would actually get to the 8th day here. I thought I was going to be dead within the first couple days, because sometimes that's exactly how this game will treat you. Now, we have had casualties. We've had 2 losses to this point. We've lost Bruno and Amelia. The only individual holding on from the original 3 is Boris, and actually he is currently in the worst shape of everybody with 2 wounds, but he does have bandages on him, as you can see right here. So first off, before we begin this next day, we need to deal with the narrative action choice I threw back to you guys at the end of the last video. I'll also make a mention that if you haven't checked out any of the prior videos and you're wondering how we got to this particular point, check the eye in the top right hand corner of this video, click on that. You'll actually be able to go ahead and check out the full showcase from the very beginning. It also should have popped up for you as well. These are the 2 narrative action cards that we had to select between in the last video through voting or through the comments. The popular choice of the 2, even though both were options, was Night Owl. It states to play at the beginning of the evening phase. So this is essentially after you've gone through your day actions, as well as set up as to what your characters will be doing during the night, whether they'll be going out scavenging or guarding. And at that point, you can play this Night Owl card. This character at that point in time can perform all their actions again. So what you really want is a character who has 3 full actions to spend, and I'll be working to make sure I have that. Zalata is the pronunciation of the new character that we just got in. I believe I pronounced that wrong, and probably will pronounce it wrong later on too. Maybe we'll just call her Z. But either way, that character currently is the closest to having 3 actions available. All she needs to do is have a sleep during the day phase, and she'll be raring to go with 3 actions to use that Night Owl really effectively. So she'll be able to put a lot of work in for being a new individual as part of the group. And now we begin day number 8. It states to place 3 cold tokens in the cold space, which I'll do right after resolving the rest of this card. And below it, it says place this card on the findings pile. Now, you'll remember earlier we had a famine card here. So because this card currently sits on the finding pile, this one right here, it is now going to be removed. As it states right there, if there's any card already there, remove it from the game. So now the value of cigarettes, moonshine, 100% alcohol, and jewelry is raised by 5. Those are the things we're going to want to have if we want to do some serious trading. So the army deals card is on top of the findings deck. We've also got 3 cold tokens go into the cold space. Another thing to make note of is this right here, chapter number 3. Remember, we need to ensure when that triggers that our characters are at 0 hunger. That is extremely important when we hit this, and I'm hoping to be able to make that happen. Alright, so it's now time to move into the actions phase here. So first round of actions during the day. Now, just so you guys are aware, Boris right now with the wounds he has only has 1 available action, which is pretty bad. So he is currently sitting right here. He's only going to be able to do 1 thing today, and honestly, there's a couple things I've been wanting to do and been waiting on, and that is using the saw blade and the lockpick to try to basically rip through a couple other parts of the house and hopefully gain some useful stuff. So let's see what's behind the bars, for instance. So let's actually have Boris go down to the bars here. He's going to head into the basement. Again, if we can actually break through these bars, not only that, we gain access to head down this way to the furniture and to other areas of this basement. So I think that's a good one. We'll put Sawblade right here because it requires it. The other character that I have here, Z, currently has 2 actions available. By actually having her sleep during the daytime, which I will do at some point, she'll gain access to that next action. But right now, I want to focus on using the lockpick potentially and actually having her go through one of the closed doors. Now, there's 2 closed doors upstairs. This one right here leads to rubble, which of course will slow us down to get to the furniture on this side. But that closed door leads right to a furniture pile and is much shorter in terms of a time frame to get to the good stuff. So let's have her actually head up to this closed door right here with a lockpick, and we're going to go through those 2 spaces. Now the question becomes, what do I do with Roman? I think the only option I got here with Roman that it makes perfect sense to me is that his fatigue level currently is at 2. So I think we're going to go ahead and have him actually sleep, because right now that fatigue is causing him to only have 1 round worth of actions, and that's not enough for me. I want him to have the availability to have another action after this, plus get rid of that fatigue and keep those levels low. So I'm going to go ahead and have him put into the bed so that he can sleep that away. So let's resolve this one. This is pretty easy. If any characters here lower their fatigue of all characters placed here by 2, he goes back to the guard position. So his fatigue 2 is removed, which will allow him to be able to go ahead and take the extra action next round. So that's good. Now we need to resolve the closed door up here. And remember, lockpicks do not stay. Once you use them, they are broken and gone. We're going to have to make another lockpick if we ever want to see the closed door on the opposite side. But hey, we get through this door and to the furniture pile, which hopefully will have something good for us in the future. Now just give me a second here while I struggle to flip this. What did we gain? We got ourselves a mechanical part. That's good because all of our mechanical parts were stolen from us last video, and a wood. I'm happy about that. So 1 mechanical part into storage as well as 1 piece of wood. I will return Z back to the guard position. Last but not least, we have the saw blade going through the bars. All we have to do is cut through it. We do not lose the saw blade. It just goes back into our inventory. That's the cool thing about the blade. It's much better than a lockpick. We get to flip this over. What did we gain? Ooh, 3 components and another mechanical part. This is all really nice because it's actually giving me quite a bit of build options that I didn't have when I started out. So you can see working through the house sometimes is a good thing to do. I can definitely reap some rewards in terms of those resources that you desperately need to build, especially when they're stolen from you. So you're likely wondering, well, what's my overall goal here during this day? Well, normally I have a fitting that I want to try to build or something like that, and I actually didn't know if I could build anything because all my mechanical parts and electrical parts were stolen from me last time. But because we just gained those mechanical parts, I now have options. And what's exciting me a little bit is the fact that even though our hunger levels are pretty high, we have a 3 on Boris, a 1 on Z, and 1 on Roman. That's a lot that we need to work on to reduce. I do have that objective up top that if I can be successful at it, I can avoid taking 2 misery each. I really want to strive for that one because chapter 3 is next. It's the next event we're going to be pulling on the next day. So I'm looking forward to that hopefully being a positive versus a negative. So how I can essentially ensure that and also help my food rations go the extra mile is I could now, thanks to the mechanical parts I just gained, maybe build a crude stove. Now, if I thought about doing this, it would take 2 mechanical parts, thanks to the ones I just got. I don't have enough components yet. 2 away there, and I'm 2 away on the wood. Could gamble on the pokeboat here to try to find it, or I could go to the newly opened up furniture slot way up here with 1 character and maybe get lucky and find something, plus another furniture spot here. I mean, if I checked out both of those, they're likely to have better rewards or reap better rewards than gambling on a die. So probably 2 characters should be going to the furniture spots. The other character I'm going to have potentially, well, actually, you know what? It might make perfect sense. I might have Z rest, because if Z rests, then she will be able to take her 3rd action, and she will be the only one that's available to do that. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Boris is done now. I don't want to make that mistake. Boris is done because his wounds are preventing him from taking any more actions. So right now I only have 2 people. Ooh, it's much more of a gamble now. This is such a huge gamble. I don't know which of the furniture cards are going to reap the best rewards. One of them is going to at least lead me further to a rubble pile that later on I can interact with. So maybe I go that route. I don't know. Either way, it's a gamble here. So maybe what I'll do is have Z definitely sleep so she can get rid of her fatigue and have the availability to take the last action in the 3rd round that anyone's going to be able to take. But again, remember, we have the Night Owl card. So later on, I could have Z come back and do 3 full actions afterwards, which is huge. So maybe what I'll do is head to the furniture one down here. This is such a gamble. I have no idea what's going to happen. So Z is pretty straightforward. It slept in the bed, back to the guard position, and now her fatigue, which was 1, is going to be completely removed, and that opens her up to a 3rd action. And now they're going to go ahead with a 2nd action here for Roman. This is his last action, as his wound will prevent him from having a 3rd action. And we'll see what we get here under the furniture. Please be good. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, we got 2 books. Oh, unfortunately, we have 3 books in inventory. I don't think there's any more left, so we're not going to gain any of those books. We get a lockpick. That's good. We get wood, 2 components, and jewelry, which is very, very useful right now, being that they are 5 more in value, so the jewelry goes from a 10 to a 15 now. So now I want to kind of talk through the plan that I had originally, and I'm now realizing it's going to be impossible, being that I'm 1 action shy of making it happen. So let me explain to you what I was hoping to pull off, and I don't think I can at this point. First thing I want to do is mention the fact that Roman doesn't get a 3rd action here. So going into the 3rd round of actions, it's just going to be Z, which we knew, but I just want to make sure that no one gets that confused, and I also don't take advantage of that. So Z is going to go ahead right now. Now, what I was hoping to pull off in the perfect world was was to go ahead right now with the resources I have, hoping that I had all the resources to build a crude stove. If I had have had 5 components, which I do, 2 mechanical parts, which I do, and 3 wood, which I do not, I only have 2, then I could have at this last action built the crude stove. Now normally you'd be like, well, that's great, you're going to build it, and then what? Well, the Night Owl card would have allowed Z to come in at nighttime and work overtime during the night to basically convert using this particular stove. On the opposite side, you can prepare a meal, or sorry, cook a dinner, I should say. 1 raw food, 1 water, and 1 book, and you can convert a single raw food into 2 raw food, meaning I could go to a total of 4 across 2 actions. So out of the 3 actions she'd have during the night, I'd go in there once, cook or convert 1 raw food to 2, go again, convert 1 to 2, then I'd have 4. So what would that do for me hunger-wise? Well, 4 food would reduce Boris from a 3 to a 2, 2 to a 1, and 1 to a 0. So that's 3 raw foods consumed to get him to 0. I have 2 other characters at hunger 1. The 4th raw food would have gotten rid of the other characters, or one of the characters' hunger completely. Then I'm just 1 away from making it happen. And I could have, with the 3rd action she had left, gone up to the deadfall trap up here and set a weight token with some chems, and just fingers crossed, the odds would be in my favor that I'd roll a 3 to 10 and get at least a single raw food, and bam, we have completed the objective in a single day, which is crazy. The downside is I am short by 1 piece of wood. So as magical as that plan was laid out, at this point in time is when I'm realizing it is all broken down. So now what I'm trying to decide is, do I even bother focusing on it if I know that bad things are going to happen? Now that I know that I can't actually make this happen, should I focus on building something else? Probably. So in this particular case, instead of doing the crude stove, I should probably think of other options. And one of those options should probably be to how I'm going to mitigate the broken morale that's going to come from not staying fit based on the objective, failing that, and having 2 misery hit every single character. The other nasty thing is Boris is the only person with misery 1, so no one will die from this, but we'll have some people escalate pretty fast, and well, there's only 1 chair in the place for them to sit and try to reduce that misery, so we'll be doing some serious mitigation in the future, but I need to rethink my whole strategy now. So now that you know my strategy in terms of what I wanted to do, I'm going to talk about some hidden rules that I just found out about by doing some more digging. Of course, when you get a situation where you have a plan and you really want to see it go through, like I just explained to you guys, I'd love to be able to pull off what I just talked about and succeed at that objective. So I was looking everywhere, and that included not only this journal book, which we mainly covered fully actually within this playthrough, but also the book of scripts for any references that this journal points you to for all the different phases in the game. There's some interesting information you can find inside the book of scripts that will lead you to rules which are very, very crucial to take advantage of. And I'm going to talk about 3 of them right now so that you are aware of them, because I think these are 3 of the biggest ones. The first one is you can eat food and drink alcohol at any time in the game. So what you might think when the dust phase rolls around and we have to feed ourselves, that is the only time you can consume food. It is not. If I have raw food right now in my storage during the day phase of actions, I could consume food on Boris if I wanted to reduce his hunger, to actually get back my 3rd action. And if I wasn't wounded, I could have a 3rd action. That is huge to know. So I wanted to make that aware to you guys that you can do that. Now again, my wounds are going to prevent me from having a benefit there, but it's good to know that. Plus, you can ensure that you are actually mitigating, or not necessarily mitigating, but gaining as many actions as humanly possible during the day phase. And that is really important. So that's the first one to mention. It actually relates not only to food, as I mentioned, but also alcohol. So don't forget that. The second one is during scavenging. A character can raise their fatigue by 2 to carry 1 more weight unit when they return to the shelter. So if you find something that you really want, or you're trying to add up a certain number of components or wood or water, whatever it is, and you need that extra piece of weight, you can burn yourself out. You can take a fatigue 2 hit on top of whatever you already have, if you have some at all, and then drag that thing back. That is huge to know as well, because there was a time there where I had to make choices between a gun or a guitar and things like that. I might have burned some energy and just come back and slept in my bed in order to get that thing back. So something else worth mentioning. Now, the last one is the one that's going to help me right now, and it is in relation to increasing the number of actions you have during the day, and that's exactly what I need to make my plan work. It states, during the day phase, if the character has no black dots on any state, they can raise fatigue by 2 and perform a 4th action. So you can see right now that Z, going into the 3rd round of actions, has no black spots, and because of that, I can push Z by putting 2 fatigue on her in order to gain that 4th action, which is the 1 extra action that I need to make my plan work. Now, what matters here is timing of when I actually push myself with that fatigue, and the key is to not do it right now during the regular rounds of actions. The reason being, if I do that and push her to have her 4th action, the worst thing about that is by putting a fatigue 2 on your character right now, it would kill my ability to use Night Owl. As you can see, going into using that narrative action card that would allow me to have actions through the night phase and be very, very active, would only allow me a single action, so it would completely destroy any plan I have. However, if I just go through my 3 rounds of actions like I normally would, and then play the Night Owl card when I have 3 available actions to my name, it states on the Night Owl card as if it was the day actions phase. At that point, I can push myself to get that 4th action in the Night Owl card during a 2nd day phase, if that makes sense, during the night. So you got to make sure your timing on that stuff is bang on, because otherwise you could throw yourself into a loop where you actually end up coming out with less actions. So, not going to be gunning for a 4th action right now, not exhausting myself. I'm simply going to go to the furniture space because I know I need wood. Yes, I could go to Pokeabout, but furniture, you're almost guaranteed, at least I think, I hope, to get a wood at every single furniture card because typically it's all made of wood. So we're going to go ahead and go up here. This could be a gamble because actually I could flip this and I might be remembering incorrectly, but we'll see how it goes. So let's go ahead and resolve this furniture card and see what's underneath. Hopefully this paid off. 1 piece of wood and a raw food. Look at that. Sugar and a mechanical part. That was a great find. Perfect. And she's going to go back to the guard position. I think it's time to get excited because I think this plan is going to work perfectly for me in order to make sure this objective happens. And it's even better that I found raw food. That I was completely not anticipating finding because that's going to be huge right now. We don't have to rely on the deadfall trap like I was talking about earlier. We got the 1 piece of wood we need. We got an extra mechanical part for building things. Good stuff. All right. So at this point now, we're done with our day actions. Now, just before we go ahead with the next phase of the game, I'm going to take my broken pistol and I'm going to use the handyman card that I've had sitting here for ages, play it any time, and automatically exchange a broken item for its fully functional equivalent using any resources and tokens. I'm doing that right now. The reason being is I do have ammo here. So when I eventually get this broken pistol fixed, which is happening right now, then the bonus is I have the ability to actually shoot it. So I have a pistol now. It just went up crazy high in value from 5 to a 16. This is the first time we've had a gun in the playthrough, and now I've got that in my stash along with some knives. All right, now this is going to get pretty wild. I'm actually super excited because the way this all linked up is just absolutely perfect. And honestly, when I've played this game in the past, it never turns out like this. Always something comes in and just destroys you. So I'm probably speaking that into existence. Something's going to fail on the way, but I'm really hoping it doesn't. So we're moving into dusk right now. Every character needs to drink water. It'd be absolutely ridiculous of me not to give water to Z, because that, of course, would then prevent her from potentially being able to have the ability to push for that 4th action that we know we need. So she's the one that I'm going to have actually drink water. The other 2 water we need to hold on to because we're planning on actually converting 2 raw food, 1 water. Basically, it'll be like this. 1 raw food and 1 water will be cooked together, and 1 raw food and 1 water will be cooked together. And it's going to change these from 2 raw food into 4 total, plus the one we found is 5. What we need to reduce our actual hunger is going to be 3 to a 2 is 1, 2 to a 1 is 1 more, and then 1 to 0 is 1 more. So that's 3 total right there, and then 1 and 2 is 5. If we have 5 raw food, we can wipe away all of our hunger, and we successfully nail the objective on the day that it's actually going to trigger. Or I guess it'll be triggering on the next day, but still, we got it all done in a single day. That's pretty impressive. So that's my plan of attack. So I do have to roll now for Boris, which should be unfortunate here. This probably isn't going to be good. So let's grab a D10 and see what's going to happen to him because he didn't have the water he needed. He's sacrificing a little bit. Okay, so that, I don't know what that is. That's sitting between, I guess we'll call, that was sitting right in the middle. Let's re-roll that. I don't know what to call that. There we go. It's an 8. It actually pretty much was an 8. So an 8 is raise their misery. That's no good. So his misery is going to go from a 1 to a 2. Doesn't hurt his actions, so I guess that's good. Now let's talk about Roman. We're going to have him go sit in a chair and maybe reduce his situation. And we got a 1. Sorry about that. That was off screen. And his hunger isn't going to increase by 1. Oh, no! No! Oh, no. Okay, so I guess the next question is could the deadfall trap save me here? Oh my gosh. This is what I mean. See, you have a plan and then things change quickly. Forgot about the fact that my hunger could be impacted by the water thing. Okay, yikes. Stress is rising. So what we're going to do now is move into the hunger part of things. And, I just realized my whole plan is not going to work anyway because, well, oh no, because if I don't have... Oh, no, I have vegetables. I can prevent my hunger from going up on 2. Oh, this is so bad. This is getting out of control. I thought I had this in the bag, but I was completely forgetting about the time frame of this because the night owl is not going to trigger until I can't do this until the evening. I think it says play at the beginning of the evening phase. Yeah, so I have to go through this dusk portion, which means if I don't eat, I'm risking it. Now, I could set the deadfall trap, though. This is tough. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go like this. Oh my gosh, I don't know how this works. Raw food here will drop this individual back down to 1. So the raw food consumed there. Vegetable here for Boris. Vegetable here for Z. And we're good. Okay, so, not terrible, but the raw food we picked up earlier from the furniture is going to help us a lot. We still can convert these into 4. But you're going to see we're now going to have to rely on the deadfall trap, which is not bad, but it's still super, super risky. Stress is rising. Okay, so we are now done with the food. We're moving into the evening. I'm choosing not to. We're going to use Night Owl right now. So play at the beginning of the evening phase. Choose one character. I'm choosing Z, and that character now performs all of their actions again as if it was the day phase, or as if it was the day actions phase. And because as if it was the day actions phase, I'm going to have her exhaust herself in order to get that extra action. So let's go ahead and bump her fatigue all the way up because she doesn't have any black dots currently. That's going to really exhaust her quite a bit to push for this, but we're going to go for it. So the first thing she's going to do is, of course, go place a new fitting, and she's going to go ahead and grab this crude stove, which is not the best version of the stove possible. She'll put the stove... Actually, let me see. Does this stove, can it potentially be upgraded? I believe it can be. Let me just double check that. Yes, it can be. So I want to put this in a space where I could have another thing beside it. So maybe I'll build it right up here next to her. So way upstairs, the most ridiculous place to put a stove ever. We need to have all the components. Yes, we do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the 3 wood we need, 2 mechanical parts. So we have absolutely everything we need to resolve that right now and flip it over. We have availability to use the crude stove going into her next action. All right, so at the crude stove, we're going to place our character for their second action. And the worst part about this is I can only create 1. I wish I'd be able to do what I could do at the efficient heater, which is basically burn a ton of wood to gain a whole bunch of coal tokens reducing. That's something I'm not even doing this time around because I'm so focused on this. But you can see here, it just states that you can cook a dinner. 1 raw food, 1 water, 1 book or wood to get 2 raw food. You can't do it multiple times. It does state on other cards here, like this, the simple heater, for each 2 wood or 2 books or 1 wood plus a book, you can discard a coal token. So in that situation, you can go after it multiple times with 1 action. This one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and take a raw food, a water, as you saw. I thankfully have 3 books, so I'm going to burn 1 of those books. The great news is I get to keep 1 at the end of all this insanity, so I can try to deal with misery as well. And this is going to convert into 2 raw food, so that's good news. Okay, so 2 raw food is going to go into my storage. I might as well just kind of do the next action right away, which is going to be stay exactly where I am. Do the same thing, spend a water, spend a raw food, and also burn a book. Now we only have 1 book, as I mentioned, left. So check those resources, they're gone, and we're going to convert to 2 raw food. Now pushing her for her fourth action now, which I've done, we're going to move to the Deadfall Trap. We are going to place some chems here in order, or I should say discard some chems, in order to place a weight token, and this is where things are huge because we do need more raw food. Now, as we talked about earlier on, we can consume food anytime. So right now, I'm literally going to go ahead and consume all of this food, 4 of them. We're going to go ahead and remove hunger from here, and I'm going to drop this hunger by 2. So we'll exchange it here for a 1. We're getting super close to pulling off this objective. If we can make it happen, it would be incredible. You can see all we need now from the Deadfall Trap is a roll of a 3 to a 10 when we get around to it. So as you can see, a lot of things have changed. I now have 2 less books, 2 less water. All my raw food has been consumed. I don't have any food. Wow. So lots done there. And we are now complete with that. Oh, if we hadn't had that card, that Night Owl card, none of this would have been possible. So I'm going to have Boris and Z actually head out to scavenge. So I'll just tip these guys back up and we'll leave 1 individual here at the house. Although I kind of want to leave 2 because those night raids are pretty nasty. This is a tough one. No, maybe I will leave 2 because last time I was pretty successful bringing back what I needed to bring back overall. So let's go ahead and actually leave 2. So I'll leave, Boris has got the best inventory. So let's leave her here. Also, just to ensure we've got the right stuff, I'm going to go ahead and put a pistol on one of them here. Now, Roman doesn't need one. He's got a knife. So she is going to take the pistol and equip that. I'm going to bring a knife with me on the scavenge. I'm also going to bring a saw blade on the scavenge. I'm going to bring a lockpick on the scavenge, although the lockpick, that's right, because we gained a lockpick when we actually resolved one of the cards. So we still have one. That's pretty awesome. So again, just so there's no confusion there, I used a lockpick and it broke earlier in the video, but then I gained one later on when rummaging around. So that's pretty cool. So I'll bring that with me for sure. I also want to bring jewelry with me because we know from the army deals that's of high value right now and I have no use for it besides just trade value alone. I don't plan to have any shotguns ever, so I'll bring a shell with me to trade. Coffee is something nobody needs, I don't believe. Nope, we don't need coffee, so I'll bring that with me to trade. We need cigarettes, so I'll keep that. Meds are good to have, bandages good to have. Herbal meds, I don't know. We probably should hold on to it because we might get ill from the fact that we actually have 3 cold tokens if we fail it. So keeping the meds and these, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put them on Boris. This is risky. I'm going to bring them with us so that anything that happens at night can't take them away from us. And that's a strategy too that you guys can employ in terms of, do you want to bring things that don't have any weight or even have weight with the person scavenging? But don't think that that can actually cheat the game. And you might think that is cheating the game, that strategy, but it isn't, because if that character goes out scavenging and meets a resident and ends up dying through some unfortunate circumstance, you lose everything that you brought with you. So just as bad as a night raid can be taking things away from you, scavenging is risky too. So it's not always 100% foolproof. But right now, the night raids are what's been kicking me, so I'm going to probably more so rely on being safe. I definitely want to bring, actually, I kind of just want to bring all this stuff. Let's bring everything that doesn't have weight. Let's risk it. The mechanical part, I'll leave behind. The sugar, I'll leave behind. I'll take all this stuff. So all this stuff is stuff I had with me. Of course, I want my camo. I'll keep the things that I know I'm going to use up front. The rest of this can sit in the back. Lockpick I might use, shell I don't need. Jewelry is for trade, knife is for protection. We're all set there. Now, where do we want to go? That's kind of a big thing. Oh, and the other thing we don't want to forget is raising our fatigue for the fact that we're all doing something during the night. So Boris will gain a fatigue. We'll also have a fatigue gained right here for Roman. And then this one is going to convert all the way up to a 3. And that's because, remember, we pushed ourselves extra hard during the day to try to make that objective work. She's really putting in a lot of work for us. The noise marker is also set to 1. We need to decide where we want to go. I'm honestly really tempted to go to military outpost. It is sketchy there. There is potentially the chance that we could run into people we don't want to run into there. I don't know what's coming through the residence deck next. We also have the central square space up there. That one has rubble, but I don't have a shovel. So closed doors with a lockpick and bars is way better for me because I have a lockpick and saw blade. So military outpost is where I can spend the most time currently. Plus I get the most cards. It just makes logical sense for me to go there again. All right, here we go with the first card off the top of the deck. Let's find out how the scavenging plays out. Reality Impact, classic. Draw a card from the colors deck and determine the color, then check the number with that color on the expiration chart on this location's card. We got the color blue, so if we actually check out the location card itself in the exploration chart on the military outpost, you'll see right here, exploration, it says 190 in the book of scripts. You don't have to think twice to realize that we're standing in a place of mass murder. The tracks are fresh. Shells mix with dirt in almost equal proportions. No battle in such small scrap of land could last that long. Only a massacre, a recent one, here in the military camp. We stopped, petrified with fear. There's a soldier standing in front of us. He's holding a machine gun and he's staring at us. Oh no, this is going to go sideways real fast. See, this is what I mean. Like, you think you're going somewhere and everything's going to be safe. This game will throw curveballs at you. We can try to run right now. That's one option. It says to check out 1445, or it says we wait to see what happens and don't move. Oh my gosh. I think running from them is just bad. So let's just stand still and take what's happening. He's got a machine gun. We have a knife. I could have brought the pistol with him, but I anticipated needing that more so with the night raid, so we'll see if that was a good idea or not. So we're going to 1896. Yes, it happened here. Traitors and our enemies. Someday the guilty will be punished. Now get out of here, or else you'll end up in the dirt too. We leave without saying a word. Okay, good. So nothing bad happened. I'm guessing if we had have tried to run, he would have gunned us down, so that was the right call. This card, like others we've seen, states at the very bottom of it that it needs to go underneath the location that it came from, and it's going to sit there until that location leaves the game. Let's continue our exploration, hoping for better things. All right, a door. Peek through the keyhole, return one card to look at the next card from the unknown deck. I don't really need to do that. We can enter, raise the noise by 1, or just roll for noise. Let's just roll for noise. We're at a 1 anyway. 3, we are fine. So we go through the door into the military outpost. We have to climb up. So we can return 3 cards, or we can roll the Great Combat die for each scavenging character to determine how many wounds they suffer. Well, this individual, like we've talked about before, I think we got this one. Boris has a prowess of 2, so he's got some rerolls at his advantage. Let's go ahead and actually roll the gray die. I think I can actually handle this. Yeah. So I'm quite happy with that roll. That's a nothing. I'll stop right there. Don't need to reroll anything else. We're fine. Again, if you didn't have a character that had a high reroll, like if I had to send Z out there, 0 rerolls on her, something like that would be a lot more risky, and you'd want to pay to avoid bad things from happening. Closed door, nice. So we found the closed door. There is a closed door at this location. Pick the lock requires a lock pick. We definitely have one. So we'll do that. And it says return 1 exploration card. So we'll go ahead and return 1 for time for picking the lock. We're going to roll the die. On a 5 to 10, discard a lockpick and open the door. We got a 5, just barely. It almost floated over, but I guess it would have been a 7. We're fine. So we just barely picked that lock. This lockpick is gone. And it does state here that now after opening, we get to add 5 cards from this deck here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on top of the deck, giving us more time at this location since we've gotten through that door. So our unknown deck is growing again. We seem to have pretty good luck with this military outpost. And again, it's because we're being smart. We're bringing a lockpick and we're bringing a saw, which we know is going to give us more time, right? Because we get through more doors, we can see more stuff. Then it says to draw and resolve 1 findings card, a furniture chart. That's always good. So we'll take this card and move it aside. This is just for the dealings that we can potentially do here and how much they've raised value by. We're looking at the furniture chart. What do we get? We got some meds, another lockpick and sugar, plus a roll of a D10. Is 3. I believe that's nothing. Yes, that is nothing. I don't seem to ever get something from special findings. I really like that we're getting meds and herbal meds, because I really think by having the 3 cold tokens and more so focusing on the objective, that the cold could come back ironically and give us a little bit of frostbite. And that frostbite might make us sick, and having all these meds are going to certainly help, I hope. So we've gone through the closed door. We can discard this card now, and let's find out what the next card has for us. Reality Impact again. This time our Reality Impact is green. So it says we're going to draw a card from the exploration deck, which is this one right here, and check the number with that color. So we've got ourselves a 961. There's someone else here. He's off to the side and is watching us carefully. If he had bad intentions, he would have made use of the element of surprise already. We have 2 options here. Let's confront him, go to 1590, or let's get out of here, back to the game. I kind of want to confront him to see what he's going to do. Let's confront him. I know this is probably a bad idea, but we have a knife. There's only 1 of him so far. I think we're okay. We'll see. Famous last words. A shortish man comes out from around the corner aware that we are waiting for him. He looks rather funny, but something in his eyes seems to be saying, go on, try something. Sorry for the sneaking about. I wanted to make sure you aren't some dangerous individuals. He speaks with an accent, but it's hard to tell where he's from. I have a few interesting things I'd be willing to trade. I'm really hungry and thirsty. Shall we do business? Here's what I've got. The trader lays out some jewelry and a few pieces of decorative weaponry. You can trade tokens 1 for 1 item, completely ignoring its worth. Wow. The trader offers 2 jewelry. Whoa, jewelry is really valuable right now. 1 knife, 1 hatchet. Oh man, the hatchet's there too. In exchange for the item, he is only interested in moonshine, 100% alcohol, vegetable, raw food, or canned food. I don't think I have any of that. I have no moonshine, no alcohol, no vegetables on me currently, nothing. After the exchange is complete, he says, have a safe journey home, and I'd go quickly. They'll start shooting soon. The trader disappears in the darkness. So I don't get to take advantage of anything here. Again, this was just a 1 for 1 type trade. Would have been really good to have all that stuff with me, but I just don't have it with me. So this is again another reason why you want to bring some of these things from your storage area to, with you on these types of trips, because you'd be surprised how many characters out there will need food and need other things. Didn't work out for me this time, but at least it didn't result in something terrible happening. Getting that jewelry though would have been super useful, but we'll have to just get on with it. Tough luck. Roll for noise. That's okay. We're only at a 1, so I'm not too worried. 3. Okay, we're good. Whew. All right, we'll move past that into the next one. Poke about. Nice. Return 1 card to roll for noise. I'm going to keep rolling for noise. We're at a 1. We got a 9. We're good. We can choose 1 finding from the special findings chart. Okay, so we're going to go to the special findings. We can choose 2 weapon parts, a broken pistol, a broken assault rifle, or an actual working pistol. I think a working pistol is what I got to go with if there is another one available. There is indeed, so I'm definitely going to add this to my findings pile. Next card, we're doing pretty good so far. Finding a gun is always nice. All right, another door, so we can choose to go ahead and just roll for noise. I'm going to do that. Doing all right with the roll. 7, nice. So we have not triggered noise yet, and I really hope we don't have to deal with it. Search the pantry. I like that. That's going to involve food. That is a huge plus right there. Okay, so whew, that could be good. So let's go ahead and let's raise the noise by 1 and roll, I think, because we're again got that camo on. We're safe that way. 10, great roll. We're good. Draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck from the pantry. We found ourselves a vegetable, 2 coffees, and a D10 roll. Please don't be a miss. A 4. It is a miss. We find nothing again. You'd think that I was jinxed with this special findings roll, but I think I am actually jinxed. Here's the 3 items I'm going to add to the findings pile. Let's continue onwards. Stairs down. I didn't want to see that. So we can enter by raising the noise by 3 and rolling. Ouch. Or we can just return 3 cards. Oh, that's going to burn a lot of time. I don't want to raise it by 3. That pushes me into rough territory. Let's go ahead. We got lots of cards. I don't think I'm going to be trading this time around. So that's a tough one. I guess by doing this, I can't now, because I'll be left with 5 cards afterwards. After going down the stairs, I'd have to force myself to roll at a noise level of 5, -3 for my camo, so a 2 or more would trigger it. I've made that roll before, but it's still, that might be worth it. I don't know. I just don't want to trigger a resident right now. I don't want to have something bad happen. Let's keep things safe. So let's go ahead and burn 3 cards. We're going to return them, I should say, not burn them, to that deck. And then we're going to put our other 5 cards back here. So we can no longer trade, unless, of course, we get lucky and we happen to find a bars and we can saw through them. That'd be huge. So we just returned 3 expiration cards. This gets discarded. Continuing on, we got a heap here. So we can choose to raise the noise and roll. I think I'll do that because my camo is still protecting me. It's a 1. We're good. We resolve 1 from the heap chart. Please be good. Mechanical part, shell, weapon part, and a D10 roll. This has never worked for me. Oh, it worked. Look at that. And we got ourselves a broken pistol. Not bad. We got ourselves a broken pistol, shell, mechanical part, and weapon part. Let's keep on going here. Basement entrance. Do we have a basement entrance? We do not. So we draw another card off the top of the deck over here. Search the heap. Nice. We can raise the noise by 1. I will do that because we're still protected by camo. This is as far up I can roll before we start pushing up the actual noise. It's an 8. Nice. We can draw and resolve another heap finding. What do we get? Another broken pistol and some ammo. That's big. We need lots of ammo so we can use our guns. A 9 gives me A broken assault rifle. Wow. We get the assault rifle, the broken one, and some ammo, but there are no more broken pistols. We already have one, and that's all there is. Let's continue onwards. We've got a few cards left to go through. Oh my gosh, we're finding so much stuff. This is awesome. So we can raise noise by 1 and roll or return 2 cards. I could return 2 cards and make this clean, but let's raise the... Oh, this is risky. I'm at a 5 now, just so you guys are aware. So basically a... this is going to be tough. A 2 or 1 is going to get me in trouble. Ah, I did it to myself. I got greedy. Okay, so that is going to trigger some resonance. Let's see what we get. Not looking forward to this. We found some hobos. Okay, determine the number of hobos. There's either going to be 2 or 3. Good, there's only 2. Okay, manageable, I guess. We're going to draw their tokens now. They're either carrying nothing, knife, or a hatchet. So the first one is carrying nothing. That's good to see. The second one's carrying a hatchet. Okay. Well, I might be able to handle these individuals if they get a little aggressive with me. I'm going to put them up in their spots here. So we got a melee weapon. There we go. Now we're going to look a little deeper at this card and what it has for us. So this states to place this card in the exploration slot, which is where it is right here, until you leave this location. Whenever you take anything from the exploration card marked as private, roll the black die. Result 1 to 5. Combat begins. Wow, if there's no... Okay, so basically, if I start rummaging around through here, the hobos are going to get really upset that I'm kind of going through their stuff. I can also just choose to stop right here. You can always choose to end your exploration and not continue any further. So in other words, just because I technically went ahead and did this top portion, and it says right here, draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck, I could pull the findings card, but it's not until I actually take those things that then I have to deal with some pain. So let's go ahead and find out from the findings deck what it would be. And this technically, based on what it says here, is that it's going to, well, it stays in this exploration slot. So from the furniture, so it would be bandages. Oh, bandages are nice. But do I really need them? No, I don't. I really don't. I have 3 already. That's enough to take care of all my wounds. It would be nice. Vegetable would be nice too, but I don't know. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to get in a confrontation right now and have a guy who's already got 2 wounds come back with more. Forget it. Now, it does mention here on the card that says if there's no combat, which there won't be, and I had 2 cards left in my exploration deck, which I still do, I can actually return 1 to talk to them and then potentially trade with them. But it's a 1 or the other. So I could, and this, we could talk to them and we could also trade to them. I have 1 card for each, so why don't we, I guess. So let's return 1 exploration card to actually talk to the hobos first, and we'll see what they have to say, and then we'll trade with them. None of us look particularly pretty these days, but some people are downright repulsive. Few people talk to them, and judging by their looks, they probably can't tell you anything useful. The man looks more like a bear than a human being. His beard is shaggy and thick as fur. His hands are as thick as loaves of bread. His small eyes measure us up. Roll the black die. Oh, geez. Not looking forward to this. This might have been a bad idea. 4. Okay, a result. And we got basically how it breaks down is there's 3 options. One is a result 1 to 5, or result 6 to 9, or result 10. So we got the first one. We keep our distance and start asking questions. The man stares at us discontently. There's something about his eyes. They seem bright and intelligent. He mumbles something and clearly doesn't think us worthy of conversation. That's it. Okay, so that was nothing. Now we're going to go ahead and trade. So I'll use my last card here to trade with them. Hopefully they can give me a little bit more than what just happened. It is a 355 in the book of scripts. Let's find out what that is. You may buy any of these tokens. From the red tokens, you can buy weapon parts. From yellow, you can buy herbs and chems. Gray, you can buy books. Green, you can buy vegetables, but only 1 at maximum. You can buy cigarettes, an unlimited amount. Moonshine, and the trade commission is 0. I certainly think there's a reason to trade here, and with my jewelry that I received inside my house that I found when rummaging around, it's increased value by 5. It's worth 15. We've got 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. Chems are going to help with my deadfall trap. Books are going to help with misery, fires, whatever else I can use, or even converting raw food to more raw food while cooking. We got vegetables to stave off hunger, and cigarettes for all the addictions to cigarettes I have to deal with constantly from Boris and Roman. So 1 jewelry for all that's pretty good. We're all done with scavenging, and now I want to roll that rubble die and see what happens. Give me something good. Ooh, an A. What does that mean? I forget if we've ever had that in the past. A is a special finding. Choose 1 finding from the special findings chart for this location and add it to the findings pile. Nice. Wow, okay, so that's either 2 weapon parts, a broken pistol, a broken assault rifle, or a pistol. Now, I think I already have all the pistols there. I have a broken assault rifle, so I don't believe there's another one of those. Broken pistol I also have, and I don't think there's any more of those, so I could grab some weapon parts. 2 weapon parts added to the pile. This is quite a bit of stuff, to be completely honest. Pretty ridiculous. So now let's determine what we're bringing back, because we can only bring back things up to 6 weight. So let's take all the stuff that doesn't weigh anything, put it at the top, and I'll move everything else forward. So let's go ahead. Weapon parts, pistols, they all have weight. The knife has weight. The saw blade does not. We've got a broken assault rifle that has weight. We're certainly going to have to make some cuts here because we've got a lot more than I think I can possibly handle to bring back. So nothing there. Nothing there. Well, we do have a lot of stuff that we brought with us that we already owned when we came out in the first place, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, with all that said, we've got all of these to go through. We can take 6 back. So, a knife seems to make sense to bring back. Sugar I could care less about, so that's going to go. Weapon parts are useful. A pistol certainly got to come back with, especially a functional one. Broken pistol, don't see any point in this because I can't even convert it to a real pistol at this point, so that could probably go, although it could be nice to try to fix it. Mechanical part has more value to me for building things, so I'll bring that back. Weapon part could be good for trying to, building towards a hatchet could be nice. These have lots of value though, that's the thing. You know what, bringing back the weapons might not be a bad idea. I just don't have a workbench to fix them yet. I think the broken pistol's out though. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3. Let's take back the assault rifle, 4, 5, and maybe 1 weapon part. Let's go like that. But remember, just as I say that, I remember I need water. I need to bring water back too. So I'm going to have to make some cuts here. So I think the weapon part will go and the broken assault rifle's got to go. Because I got to work on building things. And even though it would be lovely to have broken assault rifle, I have 2 pistols now. That's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and bring, with a 3 weight we're saving there, we'll bring back 3 water to ensure everyone can drink. All right, now on to the night raids. We only get 1 this time, thank goodness. Last time memories again. Really? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and resolve this based. So choose a character currently on the guard duty. We have 2 characters. Check their misery and roll the black die. So we have Z who's there but doesn't have any misery. She's the one I'm going to target because Boris has 2 misery and that sounds dangerous. That would put him up in this chart. So I'm going to pick somebody who has low misery. So she is right here at the very bottom. We're going to have to roll to find out how this goes though. Yikes. A 10. That's a really high roll. So 337. The massacre was all over the TV news. In the aftermath, we were approached by a charity which offered foster homes in Canada for young victims of the conflict. We decided to let them take Toddy. He's now safe. I'm temporarily stuck here, but one day I'll join him and we'll be together again. I have a very good reason to stay alive. Well, we managed to get through another night raid without anything bad happen. That's the second one in a row, thank goodness. I was a little worried there something bad would happen. We are getting very lucky there because those cards can really hit home, and we've had a number of them hit us really hard at the beginning of the game. So far, so good. So at this point now, the scavenging party returns, so Boris is going to come back home, and all of this stuff is going to go back into the storage area. Our storage area looked like this, with sugar, mechanical part, and a knife in it. And now it looks like this. And honestly, this is a pretty good, nice spread of different things going on. We got meds for illness, we got books, we got cigarettes, coffee, chems, water, some food, not a ton, but a little bit, lockpick, saw blade. Got some weapons finally, some shells, and some ammo. We can't use the shells because we don't have a shotgun, but the ammo can be used in the pistols. That's big time. At this point now we can assign bandages and meds. We already have bandages on the 2 characters that need them. So that's pretty much about it. No one else is ill. On to the fate card. It says raise the wounds of all wounded unbandaged characters by 1. Thankfully we have bandages. Then underneath of it, finally heal the wounds of all characters who had bandages by 1. Yes. Oh, I needed that so bad. So that is going to go. It took a couple days for that to finally trigger. It did. And discard the bandage tokens from all characters. So those are going to go away. Now remember, we have 1 more set of bandages we can use, which I'm definitely going to go ahead and put onto Boris here. But first, let's continue on. So next up it says, if cold tokens minus board ups equal 3 or more, shoot. We have 3. No. Raise the illness of 3 chosen characters. I knew this was going to happen. I am so glad I got the meds now. And just like that, the cold is getting to us. We're all getting sick. Next it says to exchange the nearest location. So goodbye Unfortunately, that's going to be the military outpost is the closest. It is going to go away. Now the closest location to us is going to be Sniper Junction, then followed with Central Square. And a brand new location I'm pulling off the top right now is the warehouse. This has nothing from 1 to 3, sugar, mechanical parts, weapon part, canned food, and hatchets. So that's interesting. Definitely a decent one. That's a medium location. That's going to be the furthest away. Also, the reality impact card that was underneath of the military outpost is now going to go back. Next is the moment we've all been waiting for. Can we get rid of the last hunger that we have here? Right now we resolve all weight tokens and then discard them. So let's go ahead and roll for the deadfall trap. Did we actually find anything? I just need to ensure we don't find nothing. That would be bad. 1 or 2 is going to mess us over big time here. We got ourselves a 7. We are safe, and that is going to be 1 raw food. So yes, right now, I'm going to go ahead and have Boris eat this food to drop his hunger from 1 to nothing to ensure nobody is hungry as we move into the next day and hit the Chapter 3 event. That is great news because we are going to successfully have everyone staying fit, minus the fact we're all sick. Now we need to deal with this part of the card, fake card, Resolve Spirit B. So B is discarding a cigarette from storage. Yes, we got a whole bunch of those. So 1 smoke for him. This one says if any character in the group is miserable, level 2 or 3, raise her misery by 1. Yes, Boris is miserable, so Z is going to go up on the misery track. That's unfortunate. We're going to have her go into a chair to get rid of that. B over here, if any character in the group is wounded, level 3, no, raise the misery by 1. Thankfully, that one won't trigger. Off the top of the narrative actions deck, again, I shuffle this every single time. I promise you, secret storage keeps coming back every single time. It's not a bad thing to have because I'd like to be able to hide things away. Maybe now that I have a bunch of weapons and I'm not going to necessarily want to carry all of them with me on every trip, could be worth having it. It allows me to play at the beginning of the night raid phase, place any tokens or resources on this card. They're ignored when night raid damage is resolved. That is nice, and it would protect them from having to hit my weight. Could be good. Kick the door down is nice too. Play during the day action phase, and you can automatically open a closed door. That's pretty good because we don't have to burn a lockpick, which we could use a lockpick to help us during scavenging to open doors, which give us a lot more rewards, hopefully, a lot more time per se, actually more so than rewards to find things. So this is tough again. I kind of want to lean towards kick the door down because that's going to save us time and also get us through, or at least it's going to save us time during scavenging, which is huge. And we've made it to chapter number 3. Wow, I honestly did not expect us to make us this far. It's craziness. You have just finished the 2nd chapter of the campaign. We're moving now into chapter number 3. Resolve the top objective card, see the reward if you meet the conditions or the penalty if you do not, and remove it from the game. So the actual objective here, like we've seen before, is staying fit. So at the end of the chapter, all characters' hunger must be 0, which it is. Clear Mind says immediately draw 2 narrative action cards and keep both of them. The first card off the top of the deck is Who's There? Play at the end of any phase, draw and resolve 2 cards from the visitor's deck. Nice, not bad. That could be useful. Although, play at the end of any phase, draw and resolve 2. So if we want to bring someone maybe to come trade or join us. That's kind of interesting. And wouldn't you know it, secret storage comes back again. I'm not kidding you. I drew these 2 right off the deck, shuffling. Now we're down to the final cards in the deck, so that's probably why it's coming up more often. But this thing didn't want to go away, and now we're forced to take it anyway. It's probably good timing for it. It states right here, you may now save the game, or you can start the 3rd chapter immediately. Of course, we want to keep going by drawing the top event card to begin a new day. This one is called the ending event card. I'm a little bit terrified as to this how this is going to pan out. Okay, yikes. Already, this is rough. Add 3 cold tokens to the cold space. So that's going to jump us up to 6. Called Ceasefire. The long-awaited ceasefire was finally agreed upon, putting an end to the fighting. What? Those who managed to survive the war would never forget it. Play this day to its end, including the dawn phase, then resolve the epilogue. What? We could actually win this. This is pretty exciting. I was really surprised to see Ceasefire come up here, so that's a nice surprise. But we have lots of cold to deal with. We're up to a total of 6. So in order to win this, we need to continue through this day, including the dawn phase, and the final objective card is face down. Now for this particular setup, the final objective card, if you've played this War of Mine, you know what that is. So I know what the final objective is, but those watching here don't know what it is if you're brand new to the game. So I'm going to keep that secret, and we'll reveal it at the very end. if I can actually make it happen. So now we're into day number 9's day action phase. And first off, in terms of the number of actions we have 2 available for Boris, we have 1 for Z, and we have 2 for Roman. So Z definitely needs to get to a bed in order to get rid of some of the fatigue she's got, because she worked extra hard in the last day, pushing herself well beyond to make sure we nailed that objective and didn't get the misery. So she did a fantastic job. So her first action is going to be to take a nap. I'm going to have Boris focus his attention on actually reducing his misery. I don't like being at misery 2. It's a dangerous place to be at, and it can be swingy in this game. Sometimes when you get an increase of 2 misery, that could be an instant death sentence for somebody. So he's going to go right to the chair. And what's really cool about the chair, next up, I'm going to have Boris focus his attention on reducing his misery. He's going to go and sit in that chair. Now, you might have noticed in the last clip there was a weight token right here that I removed. I should have discarded that earlier on. There was no gameplay impact. I just forgot to discard it when we resolved and got the raw food. So here we're in the chair. I'm going to be resting with him. What's really cool about this chair is that the more books you have in storage, the better your roll can be. I currently have 3 books, which is literally all the books inside the game. So basically, I'm just going to have him sit there and read away his misery. What this does is for every book in storage, I get to add +2 to the roll. When I'm rolling 6 to a 10 right now. So +2 3 times over covers the whole 1 through 6, meaning it's a guaranteed reduction of misery for him. He's currently at a misery 2, so he's guaranteed, being that we have this many books and the chair, to reduce his misery down to 1. And for Roman's action, I'm actually going to have him go down the basement and poke about. Why am I doing this? Well, right now we have those books which automatically, because we have all 3 of them, grant us guaranteed misery drops going forward, which is huge, and I want to keep using that to my advantage. So I don't want to burn the books to get rid of cold tokens if I don't have to. Maybe I can get lucky in a poke about and get enough wood here in order to burn away some of this cold. So first off, Z's rest here is going to reduce her fatigue from 3 to 2, and that's big time for her because now she's actually got the availability, or I should say from 3 down to 1, because she gets to recover 2 because she slept in the bed, and that's going to give her back her second action, which is what I was hoping for. So she'll be able to go in the second round of actions. Just below here we have the pokeboat. We might as well go ahead and roll for that, see how well we do. We got a 9. That's fantastic. That's going to be 4 wooden components, or 4 wood or 4 components. And honestly, I'm going to go wood because we need to burn away with our efficient heater as much of this cold as we possibly can. So that was a perfect roll. Literally couldn't have gotten any better than that on the one try there. So we'll go ahead and put him back, or Roman is back there, and we're going to gain the 4 wood, which will go to our storage. Boris over here is going to go ahead and read away a whole bunch of misery. There's no point in even rolling the die. It is successful, guaranteed. So we're going to go ahead right now and reduce his misery from a 2, flip it over to a 1. So that's pretty awesome. So now time for the second round of actions in the day phase. I'm going to go ahead and have Boris head over here to the chair again, using the 3 books to try to wipe out his misery completely. I don't want to have any misery on anybody. I do not want that to cause us problems. So I'm definitely going to go there. I'm going to have another individual head to the simple heater, I think, in order to, well, that's going to be the interesting part, is more so the timing of things. So, but I get to choose, you know, the timing of how things activate. So even though I have someone in the chair who needs the books, I can activate that first, then do the simple heater afterwards to burn up the books and the wood that I have to reduce that cold. So let's do that. I'll put one individual here on the simple heater. That's going to be Roman. And then last but not least, I have to decide what I want to do around food. I currently have 2 vegetables in here, so when we go to eat, someone is going to get hungry. But yeah, that's going to be the thing. I could set the deadfall trap, but I just don't know if there's any value in that because gaining food at this point doesn't really help us all that much. Maybe what I will do right now is play a card during the day actions phase called Kick the Door Down. So this is going to allow me to play during the day action phase, and or during the scavenging phase, you automatically open a closed door. So I'm going to go ahead and just basically automatically open this door right here, which is perfect. Didn't burn an action or anything, and I get to gain whatever's here, which is 3 wood. Check it out. That worked out pretty good. So we'll go grab 1, 2, and 3 pieces of wood. So now we have 7 in there. That's pretty good. Lots of wood. So we really don't need to burn books anymore. So that card has been discarded. We still have Who's There and Secret Storage as other cards. Both of them impact either the Visitor's deck or hiding tokens and resources. So again, not really useful right now. I'm really stuck as to what I need to do, and I want to make sure I don't mess this up with my very last action here. All right, so I've gone ahead and put the wood that I plan on using with Roman there, and now we're going to go ahead with our last action here for Z, and I'm actually just going to have her take a nap, because honestly, there's not too much more else that we need to do, but that would actually reduce her fatigue from a fatigue 1 to a fatigue nothing. So getting rid of a condition's always good, especially when you're trying to just survive to the end of it. So now that is resolved quite quickly. We can go over to the heater now, where we're going to go ahead and burn away the 6 wood that we just put in there. And again, remember, this is an efficient heater thanks to the upgrade we gave it, which is sitting to the right of this simple heater. And thanks to that, we're able to get rid of all of the cold tokens. So this pile of cold tokens is gone. So all 6 of them. There was a lot. And really, this would have triggered something really nasty if we had left this. So I'm glad we were able to get rid of those. So Roman will go back to the guard spot. And then we have Boris here. Guaranteed reduction of misery thanks to all the books we have in there. We'll return these books to our storage area. And we're going to reduce his misery, which is at 1 to nothing. It's going to get removed completely. So all he'll have left is the 1 wound on him, the 1 illness, and fatigue. So really we just have, in terms of really bad things, we have a misery on Z, which is still there. We have 1 wound on Boris, and we have illness of 1 across all characters and a fatigue of 1 across Boris and Roman. So pretty good overall. We've kept things in check going out of the day actions phase. So now we need to determine what we want to do in terms of water. So we definitely want to have everyone drink. So for sure, we're going to go ahead and just have all 3 water be consumed, so we don't have any issues with rolling there or causing misery or hunger. Now we only have 2 vegetables this time around. So we're going to be able to stop, hunger from creeping in on 2 of these characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Boris eat, and I'm going to have Z eat, I think. And we'll give the extra hunger hit to Roman. Now, there isn't too much of a strategy in this. It could really have gone to anybody in terms of who ended up being hungry. But I'm not too concerned about the hunger thing anyway. So we should be A-okay. Now we're moving into evening, and we need to decide, are we going out or are we staying in? There's absolutely no reason, knowing that we're now in a ceasefire and this thing is over, to go out and scavenge anymore. We're going to hunker down, stay by the door. We'll all take a hit of fatigue, but we are going to fight off that last night raid as a group. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the fatigue of Boris from a 1 to a 2. And then we're going to go ahead and give a fatigue 1 to Z, and we're going to give a fatigue, or actually take the fatigue 1 on Roman and bump it up to a fatigue 2. So we are tired, but not super tired. And we also want to make sure that we're fitting them up to be able to protect themselves. So we know that Roman has a knife on him he can use all the time. The other 2 don't. I'm going to give both of the other 2 pistols, and they're each going to have ammo with those pistols as well. Now, I know I have absolutely nobody going scavenging here, but this is a perfect example of where the advanced rules are hiding. If you have the app and you're at script number 600, or even the book of scripts that comes inside the game, you can scroll all the way to the bottom, which will first off give you a whole bunch of description as to what you can do around scavenging. But if you get all the way to the bottom, you'll see 2 options. One says advanced rules or back to the game. So advanced rules takes you to 534, and it literally says at the top, you have just discovered 3 hidden advanced rules. So it talks about, first off, being able to hide findings in locations. So there is a game mechanism in place, which I didn't use during this playthrough, but you can use it to your advantage to hide different items that you actually can't bring back with you when you're coming back from a scavenge on the location card. If you ever need to get those particular resources because of another game, result of something occurring inside the game requires you to have that resource, and the only way to get it is from that spot where you've hid those resources. You do need to pull them from there. But the cool thing is you can revisit that location in the future, like we did with the supermarket multiple times, and come back and actually on a die roll of 1 to 6, all of the stuff we hid was basically pillaged and taken away from us. On a die roll of 7 to 10, we actually gain everything into our findings pile. So it's almost like we find our hidden stash again. So that's a pretty cool way to basically get back and get to some of the items thematically that you have hidden that you weren't able to take back with you. But there's other things. Again, it goes back to more inventory. I talked about that before. You can fatigue yourself to raise the weight capacity, and also exchanging locations. This is an important one, and I should have mentioned this one earlier on, but essentially at the beginning or the end of scavenging, you can return 4 exploration cards to exchange any of the 3 locations placed on the board and draw a new one. So if we didn't want to have the supermarket be an option multiple times over, which I did, which is why I didn't do this, then you could have gone ahead during the exploration section, or at least during the scavenging section, I should say, and burn 4 time to change out a location. Now, one thing I can't find in the errata or the rulebook is whether or not I'm allowed to bring more weapons with my characters, especially in situations where I have pistols here that only have a shot each, or one weapon has multiple shots of just 2, and then we're out. We can't use them anymore. So I believe you can bring, it doesn't talk about equipment in terms of the weight, meaning anything here. I believe you can go ahead and equip yourself with multiple weapons at your disposal. So I'm also going to bring the knives just in case I need them. So basically this character here, Z, has a pistol with a shot in it, and this character over here has a pistol with a shot in it, as well as a knife for backup, and of course we know Roman already has a knife. So with no scavenging happened, we're going to go ahead right now with the night raid, flip that over, and find out what we are running into during the nighttime. Hobos! Alright, damage 3. It says any 3 tokens or resources, starting with the most expensive ones, and wound 0 afterwards. Remove this card from the game. Okay, so that's really good. We didn't get any gangs or thugs that are going to throw some massive wounds at us, so that's nice. We can now try to fend things off. So what we're going to do is, Roman has the ability to roll a yellow die at all times because he has combat training, so that's great. These 2 here have the ability to use their pistols, which I certainly can use if I choose, and I also have knives for them, so we'll get a number of rolls with this yellow die and the red die depending on how we do this. So we'll start the fun off here with Roman trying to negate the hobo's 3 damage coming our way. So let's roll the first result for his knife. 2. I'm actually good with that. I'm done. I'm not going to I have 3 re-rolls with him, but 2 is great. That gets rid of 2 of the 3 damage they're throwing our way, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and have Z actually discard an ammo to use the pistol. Now the question is whether that's a smart choice. So you can see here, we haven't actually looked at the red die yet during the playthrough, but there is 3 successes right there. That's a blank. 2 successes, blank, 2 successes, and then the opposite side, this is more of like a buckshot situation. So basically, if you're using a shotgun, that is really, really awesome during the night raid. So if that result comes up, if you're using a shotgun, you ignore the complete night raid card. Now again, remember, if you're doing combat, say for instance against a resident, the actual results of these dice change a bit. In other words, some of these things mean different things. So the ... has a difference here. The other symbol right here, this is actually, instead of it being a miss like it is during the night raid, it's actually a fate card if you're inside of combat with residents while you're scavenging and things like that. So there are more rules too, depending on which way you're having combat, whether it's night raid combat or whether it's scavenging and, you know, out in the wild type combat. So being that this is just straight up guarding the house night raid, it's all about these, you know, crosshairs essentially. So basically I have chances here with this die. 3 sides are really good. 2 2s and a 3. On the knife, I have a 3, a 1, a 2, and that's it. So it is actually better for me odds-wise to use the gun just by a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just burn it for fun. I burnt the ammo. We'll roll this. We're shooting for Z, and Z has no prowess. So whatever we get on the first side is what we get. We got 3. So I mean, just with that roll alone, that is enough. I don't need to burn anything further. I can keep the ammo. We went above and beyond in order to get rid of the hobos. We basically stabbed and shot all of them. Now we're round to the dawn phase. The scavenging party would return, but we sent no one to scavenge, so we can skip past that. We're now assigning meds and bandages. And with all the sickness that we have going on, we're definitely going to use the meds that we have. We'll put a med on Boris. We'll put a med on Z, let's say. Actually, yeah, we'll put a med on Z. And we'll put a herbal med here on Roman. And our friend here, Boris, needs some bandages for his last wound. And here we go with the fate card. What do we got? Raise the wounds of all unbandaged characters by 1. So thankfully we do have a bandage here for Boris, so it won't be going up. That's good news. Heal the wounds of all characters who had bandages. Absolutely awesome. So we lost all of our wounds. That's good news. And I believe that the bandages will be discarded now. Yes, they are. So that's also good. Do the meds kick in? They do not. So we're all still sick. The meds would just stay in us. It says if cold tokens minus board ups equal 3 or more, well, it's 0. Then raise the illness of three chosen characters by 1. Doesn't affect us. We have no cold tokens whatsoever in play. We did a great job there. Now we exchange the nearest location. So basically the sniper junction here is going to disappear. The central square is going to come down closer to us. Warehouse is now closer, and the new location, which we will never see because we're going to be done, is the ruined block of flats. That's pretty cool. Mechanical part, coffee, and vegetables there. That's going to be our far location now. All right, what's next? We got the weight tokens. Okay, so weight tokens, we don't have any. Deadfall Trap wasn't set. Going down to resolving of Spirit B. This could be interesting. Spirit B on Boris here is a habit of cigarette smoking, and we definitely have lots of cigarettes. We've got a ton of them, so I'm going to use 1 on him there. B here is if any character in the group is miserable, level 2 or 3. Nobody is, and then her misery goes up. It does not. And then B on Roman says if any character in the group is wounded, level 3, raise his misery by 1. Nobody. So we got through that check, no problem at all. The 2 narrative axes we have to choose from is Through the Sewers. This one says, play at the end of the night raid phase. A chosen character on guard duty may bring an additional item. That's pretty cool. From the findings pile to the storage. This character may bring as many tokens resources as they can normally carry. That's pretty cool. Duty says, play during the day actions phase, raise 1 chosen character's fatigue by 1 to automatically remove 1 rubble or rubble remnants card without losing an action. That also would have been handy earlier on, but again, these don't matter too much here. I'm going to go ahead and select Duty. And now we're going to go back and reference the event here that we had for Ceasefire. It does state on it, play this day to its end, including the dawn phase, which is just completed right now. Then resolve the epilogue C1000 in the Book of Scripts. There was this journalist who risked his life, and he managed to capture exactly what happens here. He wasn't the only one, but only he succeeded in presenting material to the world uncensored. This triggered an avalanche, and suddenly news about the atrocities committed against our nation filled TV screens across the globe. Politicians from the most powerful countries and peacekeeping forces gave into the pressure, and they finally acted against our aggressors. To everybody's surprise, all it took was a few minor interventions, and the soldiers started retreating. We cried. Tears of joy and sadness mixed into a river that flooded across the city. Some said, why only now? You could have saved us earlier. Others just picked up what little they had left and went on looking for the pieces of their broken lives. Now, number 1, you may now additionally use all food from the storage for any characters according to the dusk phase rules. So first off, we have no food, so we can't take advantage of that. Number 2, you may now additionally use all meds and bandages from the storage on any characters, and each med lowers 1 character's illness by 1. Each bandage lowers 1 character's wound by 1. And we do have meds on our characters. So just to confirm this, all meds and bandages from the storage can be used on characters. Of course, I already have characters here with a bunch of meds on them. So they're all going to be able at this point now to reduce their illness by 1, which means all of these are going to disappear, which is pretty awesome. The meds are also going to go away. And these are the only conditions remaining on our characters now. Next, we need to resolve all the scripts written on the save sheet in the epilogue section, if any, alternatively. So first off, we don't have any. We resolved all the scripts as we needed to as we went through the game to this point. And now it states check and resolve the final objective card. And here's the card that I didn't show those individuals who have never played the game before. The final objective for the base game is survive. At least 1 character from the starting group must survive until the end of the game, with each state, so all their conditions, whether it be hunger, misery, wounds, and illness, equal to or less than 2, and the fatigue is ignored. So ignoring the fatigue across all the characters, the only things we have is 1 misery on Z and 1 hunger on Roman. Nothing would be on Boris in terms of what we need to check right now. Plus, Boris was one of the 3 characters that remained from the original 3. So we did everything needed to satisfy a full victory. Actually have a character from the original 3 is tough to do, especially when all the conditions have to be under 2 or 2. So that is brutal, and it's a really tough one. It does state right here, if you fulfilled the final objective, the playthrough ends with a success. So we got the win, and it's honestly mind-boggling, because there was multiple times through this when I was going through the motions of this game up and down, thinking at any moment everything was going to go off the rails, as it normally does when I play this. I've got a number of games underneath my belt with this War of Mine over the years since it's been released, so I'm really surprised that this playthrough actually resulted in a victory, because I went into this thinking this is going to dive bomb in the first couple days, and then I'm going to have to restart and continue forward with a second try, which would have been kind of fun actually to do two separate playthroughs, one that actually full on failed and another one following up. But it's nice to get a win, because I think the last couple playthroughs I did, minus Final Girl, the last ones before that resulted in some losses. So it's kind of nice to get back on the win train again, and especially with a super tough game like this one. So it does state here on script 1000, in campaign mode, if only one starting character has survived, you have succeeded but barely. So that's how I did it. One character from the original 3 survived, just barely survived, and that's enough to give us a success. And it's just the bare minimum to capture that success. If 2 had have survived from the original 3, then it's more of a full success. You feel a little bit better about yourself. And if it's all 3 characters surviving from the start to the finish, you've truly achieved something extraordinary. And I can tell you right now, that is something I have never done. Now, moving on down to the bottom here, there's another section that says 2 options. If you want to know the epilogues for particular or all or just a few characters who survived till the end with their state levels 0 to 2 except the fatigue, see 1001. So I could go check that out. That's it. It says, furthermore, if you want, and if you have fulfilled the final objective, you may check the point scale of your success in this playthrough. And next it says, if you want to learn about different harder modes of playthrough, you can see 740. So let's actually go through these. The first one, this one right here, is going to be about the epilogues for the characters. So again, there could be spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear about this part, maybe just keep skipping forward until I get to the part about talking about the point scale of my success, which might be a minute or two in here. So first off, we're going to find a character on the list, check their misery, and read the person's epilogue. So first off, we're going to look at, the first person we'll look at is Boris. So his misery level was actually 0, so 1797. So Boris overcame everything that the war had thrown at him and used his grit and strength to help others rebuild their lives. The memory of Anna's sacrifice and Luca's faith sustained him till the end of his days. Wow. So that's his. Now we're going to go back here and we're going to check out Z and see what happens with her. She's got a misery of 1 though, so she's got a little bit of sadness going on. So she survived the war, but reaching Canada proved more difficult than she anticipated. Despite the difficulties, she remains determined and still believes she will see Tady, I believe it's stated, again one day. So that's good, but she hasn't actually met up with the person she wanted to meet, but she did manage to get to she managed to get to Canada, but it's, she's still trying to find this person. And we actually mentioned that person earlier on when we were checking out her story in a memory. Okay, so Roman is next. Let's see what Roman's deal is all about. Now, Roman doesn't have a misery either, so that's good. So it should be a positive outcome here. After the war, Roman sought out his former buddies and, much to his great relief, learned that most of them admired his courage and the decision he'd made. He returned to his neighborhood and became a leader in his local community. So that's really good news across all 3 of those. So that's basically it for their epilogue for the end of their stories. Now we're going to do a point check here. So first off, we're going to do some adding to find out what point levels we get here. So first off, it says add 10 points for each character who survived until the end, even for characters with 1 or more state level 3 tokens. So as of right now, we have 30. Subtract the sum of the levels of all state tokens of these characters apart from fatigue. So we have 30, and if we're ignoring fatigue here, we're just taking into account the misery 1 and the hunger 1, that's just 2. So that brings us down to a 28. Next it says for every state level 3 apart from fatigue, subtract another 10 points. didn't have any, so we're great there. For each of the characters who died or abandoned the group during the campaign, subtract 20 points. So basically, we're going to go from 28 down 20 because we lost one character. So now we're at 8, and then we're going to lose another 20 on top of it. And ironically, that's going to be negative 12, and it states here, if you still have some points left, this is the measure of your success at the end of the campaign. So we got a negative 12. So basically, yes, it was just the most gritty success you could possibly get. Not exactly the greatest overall success, but hey, doesn't matter. We made it to the end and we satisfied all the conditions. I'm really, really happy that this went as long as it did, because I had, like I said, worries this was going to be out and over with in the first couple days. This was a lot of fun. So that is going to conclude the playthrough for this War of Mine, the board game. I really hope that this helps you get the game to the table and get a good grasp of the fundamentals of the game, as well as some of the advanced rules. Be sure when you're going through the journal in each of the phases, for example, when you see something like this inside the book, it'll state morning, and right up here it'll say morning FAQ C200. All of these phases have these FAQs. I highly recommend not only checking out what's on these pages, but diving into the app or the book of scripts for those FAQs, because that's where you're going to find those extra rules above and beyond what's inside this journal to get you started, and the advanced rules, and that's all going to help you on your adventure. The other thing I want to mention is you'll notice way at the top here we got some ending events. You might be thinking, hey, aren't you supposed to go through those? We have 3 ending events, and what ended up happening for me was ceasefire ended up being the top one. What could have happened is I could have got a different ending event, which would have drawn this game out potentially another couple days. I did get very lucky that the next one was ceasefire, and I did shuffle those, and I can promise you I did not set that deck up. There's only a 33% chance basically of pulling that ceasefire card, but we got it. The other 2 that are up there we don't need to go through because the ceasefire effectively puts the game in its end state, but you could get to a spot with ending events where you're really burning through those cards and things are getting really rough. I'm sure if I had to get through both of those ending events and then get to a ceasefire at the end of that, I probably would be on my last legs. I likely wouldn't have Boris, or maybe I would, but who knows if I'd even make it that far. So I'm really glad things turned out the way they did, and I can only thank myself for my strategy. About 20% probably of what I actually pulled together strategy wise worked, and then the rest was just a matter of how the story unfolded. And that's really the big thing behind this War of Mine, is the journey that you go on and the interconnected web of events that happen in the story it tells. That's the biggest and coolest factor of the game. So for a solo player, I think that's right up their alley. Again, that's pretty much it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any feedback, comments, let me know, below the video here. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If I missed anything, there's a lot to keep track of between all these characters and all the decks and everything like that. So it's possible I may have slipped up here or there. If I did, let me know and I will certainly take a look at it. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.